Police are still reported to be investigating the activities of 34-year-old Benjamin Robert Simpson even after his arrest in Hua Hin this week based on a deportation order made against him following a serious incident linked with drugs and illegal firearms on Ko Samui in February. The boss of the Immigration Bureau this week announced the arrest of a 34-year-old British man who officers believe poses a risk to others in the kingdom and is the subject of a deportation order. Ben Simpson was arrested in early February after a day of terrorizing locals on Ko Samui with a speedboat and 2 illegal handguns. Police Lieutenant General Sompong Chingduang, at a press conference with senior officers, also revealed that he had orders from Prime Minister Prachuap and Deputy Prime Minister Prachuap to crack down on foreigners in Thailand who threaten the peace and pose a risk to others. The head of the Immigration Bureau Police Lieutenant General Sompong Chingduang this week gave details of the arrest of British man Benjamin Simpson in Prachuap, Khiri. He warned that he had orders from Prime Minister Prachuap and Deputy Prime Minister Prachuap to push out undesirable foreigners who pose a risk to the public in Thailand. Immigration Bureau police in Prachuap, Khiri have rearrested a 34-year-old British man who was taken into custody by police on Ko Samui in early February when found to be in possession of drugs and firearms after a day spent at sea terrorizing the coastal community near the Four Seasons Hotel in the Angthong area of the island. Details of this week's arrest by police were given by Lieutenant General Sompong Chingduang and other senior officers of the force who described the British man, reportedly an officer linked with public charity, as a danger to the public in Thailand. In February, the British man faced serious criminal charges including Class 1 drug distribution as well as the possession and use of illegal firearms. The man was named by police on Ko Samui in February as 34-year-old Mr. Benjamin Robert Simpson. Earlier this year, Mr. Simpson was reported to be facing very serious charges which could have left him facing anything from 10 years in prison to the death penalty after police on Ko Samui decided to throw the book at him in legal proceedings. UK man on a tourist visa arrested for offshore gun terror and serious drug charges on Ko Samui after a day out. This was after 6.85 grams of crystal methamphetamine were found in a bedroom of the Four Seasons Hotel which police raided on Thursday the 4th of February last. The quantity was sufficient to see him charged with the distribution of Type 1 narcotics in addition to firearm offences after a day of terror for frightened locals spent by the UK man and a younger companion enjoying a speedboat excursion while continuously discharging ammunition rounds from 9mm handguns. Arrested by armed police unit in a luxury room at the Four Seasons Hotel in Ko Samui's Angthong district. Men arrested by armed police officers dispatched to the area later that evening, the 2 firearms, an illegally held Beretta and a revolver, together with ammunition, were found in the bedroom of the luxury hotel which Mr. Simpson had been sharing with 22-year-old Mr. Khiri, the driver of the speedboat involved in the day of hijinks at sea. Drugs paraphernalia was also seized and held by police as evidence. This led to serious legal proceedings against Mr. Simpson being drawn up by police including charges of distributing a Class 1 drug as well as illegal possession and use of firearms. It is understood that after the case against him was brought before the court, Mr. Simpson then disappeared. Legal proceedings against Mr. Simpson on Ko Samui were finalized but police ordered his deportation. The Immigration Bureau boss, General Sompong, also known as Big Oud, revealed that the initial legal proceedings in February on Ko Samui had been finalized. Police later issued an order for him to be deported from Thailand on the basis that his temperament and character posed a risk to the public. Simpson was arrested this week at the Hua Hin market in Hua Hin in Prachuap, Khiri after police tracked down his whereabouts to the resort town which is quite popular with affluent foreigners in Thailand. In February, it was reported that the British man was quite well off being also involved in cryptocurrency trading, although police, this week, emphasized that his primary basis for being in Thailand was his links to a public charity as yet not named. It is reported that police are still investigating Mr. Simpson's activities in Thailand as part of an ongoing probe. Crackdown on foreigners using Thailand as a base for illegal activities ordered from the top, says Big Oud at this week's press conference. The Immigration Bureau commander underlined the commitment of the force to protecting the kingdom from foreigners who may have the capacity to commit crimes here or use the country as a base for illegal activity. He stressed that this was particularly important at this time as the kingdom's borders need to be monitored to prevent people smuggling and human trafficking, which poses a threat to the public and efforts to defeat the COVID-19 virus. He indicated that the Prime Minister, Prachuap, and Deputy Prime Minister Ko Samui had recently ordered the force to redouble its activities in this regard. He said this includes the tracking and monitoring of all foreigners involved in suspicious and inappropriate behavior which may have the potential to disturb the peace in the kingdom as well as the safety of lives and property. Public encouraged to report suspicious activity. He drew attention to the Bureau's 1178 hotline for members of the public wishing to report such foreigners, as well as inviting anyone with information to contact the Immigration Bureau headquarters in the Sathorn area of Bangkok. The Immigration Bureau chief made it clear that police were determined to push out such undesirable elements from the kingdom. The announcement comes as Thailand is preparing to reopen more provinces of the country from the 1st of November next, including plans now scheduled for January 2022 to reopen key land borders. Crackdown on illegal foreigners sees American teacher arrested in class and Russian at his restaurant lunch. Similar crackdowns have been a feature of policing in Thailand since 2015, when the junta government, supported by Deputy Prime Minister Prachuap, pushed a campaign to toughen security measures against undesirable foreigners who were seen by the top brass at the Royal Thai Police as increasingly active in drug distribution, online fraud and human trafficking. Number of visitors entering Thailand since April 2020 slows to a trickle. Many have left due to the pandemic. However, since April 2020, the number of foreigners entering Thailand has slowed to a trickle of that which was seen before. Overall, the number of foreign nationals in the kingdom has dropped since then due to the contraction of the economy and the challenging environment caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Time up for some long-stay business owners as immigration warns of arrests after Saturday's deadline. Earlier this month, the Metropolitan Police Bureau in Bangkok issued a warning to foreign nationals in Thailand not to become involved in ongoing violent street protests in the city involving young people challenging the police, particularly near the Ding Eng area of the city. Foreigners involved in protests face deportation. Police Major General Prachuap, the deputy chief of the force, warned that any foreigner found involved in such activity would face deportation from Thailand and also be blacklisted from the kingdom. The move followed the arrest of a Cambodian national among 195 detained as part of a violent disturbance on the 8th of September when ping-pong bombs and fireworks were thrown at police. Police Major General Prachuap warned that involvement in such protest activity was a violation of both the Emergency Decree and the Communicable Disease Act 2015.